Hi everyone, welcome to the final Christmas special of Mental Monday, the big friendly conversation about mental health with me, Jake Symons. For the next half an hour, we're going to be having just that, a big friendly conversation about mental health. Thank you for spending your Saturday evening with me. As I say, this is the last episode of Mental Monday, before we get back to our usual schedule, which is next Monday. This is the last Christmas special, and I wanted to just spend some of my Saturday. I know I'm interrupting the Masked Singer for many of you. Apologies for that. But if you are joining me today, thank you so much for coming. I appreciate you joining me and spending a bit of your Saturday talking about mental health. Now, there's not really any house rules here, but we do try and keep it away from triggering topics such as self-harm and suicide, because this isn't professional, obviously, and I can't help you if you were to be triggered or have a kind of negative reaction to something you see in the chat. As always, the Samaritans are there for you on 116123, or Childline if you're under 18 on 0800 11 11. So with that out of the way, I'm going to waffle on for a couple of minutes to allow some people to join. If you want to reach me throughout the show, I love hearing from all of you. You can get in touch either in the chat itself, or you can reach me on Twitter at JakeSWrites, which I'm monitoring, or my email, jake@jakesymons.com. If you message me throughout the show, I may read it out. If you message me and I'm not live, that's kept confidential unless, it's otherwise allowed. So do you want to use this in Mental Monday? But yeah, if you don't want me to read it out and you're just having a thought, one, don't put it in the chat because everyone can see that, and two, just let me know if you message me on another platform that you don't want it read out. And there we go. That is everything. I'm just going to actually delete quickly before we start the previous. I accidentally created a live stream earlier, so hopefully that's now done, so you guys can only see this one. Great. We'll get into today's episode. So as I say, this is the final Christmas episode of Mental Monday, and on the website you would have seen already. That's also linked in the description. That our Boxing Day Mental Monday is all going to be about future plans and another year. It's the last Christmas Mental Monday. It's the second to last Mental Monday of the year. So I thought it would be a good idea to just reflect on the year and to talk about what we hope for in 2021 from a mental health perspective or a life perspective, or otherwise. So I'm going to start off with the usual question, and I'm sure you can guess by now what's coming, and that is, how are you? And it's good to check in, it's good to make sure we're all okay and everyone is alright, really. Christmas is a difficult time for many, even more so during these times. If you haven't hated that expression by now, you'll definitely hate it by the time you finish listening to me, because I use it a lot. Do try not to. But because of everything we're all going through, Christmas is a little different, or a lot different if you're in tier 4, like I am. So, yeah. How are you feeling? How did you get through yesterday? I know we kind of had the last live stream at 7, so most of the day was done. But how did you get through yesterday? Do let me know. Do get involved and say hi. I've been alright. Yesterday was alright. Today was good, yeah. I've not really done anything, just virtually talking to people, and virtually just doing stuff, really. Nothing much. YouTube, a bit of something broke on the website that I had to actually fix, straight away. But other than that, it's just been quiet. It's not really just talking to people. So I've been alright doing that virtually. Nice bit of kind of quiet me time, I guess. Put some music on. But yeah, how have you been? Let me know. But yeah, so I wanted to reflect, first of all, on kind of going into 21. So we kind of do try and link to what, because obviously these are done live, so we do try and link to what is in the kind of the news and what's kind of going on in the world that actually affects our mental health. And obviously, the vaccines are coming, but there is a new strain, two new strains now. One that originated in Kent, apparently, and the other South African strain. So obviously those two are floating around, which could mean more restrictions possibly coming in, or not, depending on whether they're kept under control. So, yeah, how are you feeling about that? Because I remember coming back, because we restarted these in May. So Mental Monday was in 2018, didn't really do much in 2019. And then we kind of restarted in May of this year with Mental Health Awareness Week. And then I just kind of continued it on from there. And yeah, all through since about May, I've been talking about uncertainty and its effect on our mental health, and my mental health in particular. And I feel like we're still talking about it. And yeah, we're still here talking about uncertainty and not knowing what's going to come next. At the moment, it's believed the new strains are going to be taken care of by the vaccine, as it should help, hopefully. So, is that something you're worrying about? Is that something you're worried that, we may need to be in this longer than before? Or, when will it all be over? Obviously, we're talking about spring next year, getting things slightly back to normal. Is that something you're looking forward to? Is your mental health kind of holding out? How has the year been for you, really? I want to know, and I'm kind of going to be touching on this on Monday as well. How has the year been for you? I mean, it's been quite different, for me anyway, being stuck outside instead of getting on a train every day, sitting in an office, working away. It's been different. It's definitely been different. I think between March and kind of April, really, that was when it was really bad, because obviously being autistic, I kind of stick to routines like glue, as many of you autistic people that are watching this right now, I know you also feel the same way about your routines and the way you the way we all really kind of follow routines, rules, processes, etc. And then just have that all ripped up and just be left absolutely aimless on furlough wasn't the best idea. It didn't really help, but then I kind of just got used to it and decided to start my own business, which has been something to keep me busy. So was on furlough until September, well, August, then let go in September, and then the business also opened in September. So, and that's my marketing agency, Down Media, which is also linked in the description. Although it is still very, very early startup stage, so there's not much point checking that out at the moment, because, I mean, other than the website, there's not really much to show for it yet anyway. So that's something I've been working on. That's been keeping me busy, giving me some more routine, more structure, goals to achieve, kept pushing me forward, having a purpose, all the stuff that I really like. And I mean, for me, being able to work towards something has always kept me motivated. And I think I've spoke about this in many of my 2018 Mental Mondays, actually, that, having a goal in mind, having something to keep you going, keep pushing, that really kind of gets me up in the morning. So yeah, I've been doing that. But yeah, I mean, my life has completely changed. Lost all physical contact with the world around. And yeah, just obviously Zoom and FaceTime, or even Instagram FaceTime, aren't really a substitute for actually being with people and having them physically in the room and laughing on their shoulder, etc. You can't do that. So while we do have obviously lads in the group chat and that kind of stuff, it doesn't give the same vibe as it does when we're all like, getting together. I guess it's a bit harder to. I find it harder to vibe with people, I guess, virtually, you could say. But yeah, that's definitely something that I found most challenging, is being deprived of that physical interaction and intimacy of being in the same room as someone, and not being able to see people or go out or do what I want, really, and that's been quite hard. But it's kind of, things are getting better for me anyway, because obviously I've got this new work from home life, which is keeping me busy. So that's definitely something I'm doing at the moment, and I'm fortunate enough to do that. I'm sure many of you aren't. So I'm sorry about that if you're not in that good of a place. So let me know if that's you, if you want to talk or chat or something. I can't really do much other than listen to you, so. But if you feel that would be helpful, just to have someone, do just reach me anytime. All my socials are links below. So yeah, that's kind of my year in a nutshell. In a very, very brief nutshell, that is my year. But yeah. I was looking through our Mental Mondays. We have done about 16 Mental Mondays this year, because we obviously had the 5 for Mental Health Awareness Week, and I think it was 16, although I'm actually just checking that now, because I just thought about how much content we've actually been putting out. If each of these is half an hour, and that, yes, there are 16, this is 17, and then the last one will be our 18th episode. So that's 16 times half an hour. It's about 480 minutes of content. I hope there has been a couple of minutes at least of value to you in that. And kind of going forward with Mental Monday, I do want to bounce off your suggestions more, because one of the biggest things for me is the website, and I never have time for it, but our mental health blog on the website needs to keep getting updated. So if you have any topic ideas at all, there'll be a blog going up tonight, which is a kind of run through and links to the different Mental Monday episodes for this kind of Christmas season, if you have missed them. But if you do have any topic ideas at all, I'm kind of at a loss what to write about, because I feel like I talk about recovery, I talk about self-care. I'm not really sure what else I can offer, other than just, I feel like there's only so much I can say. Keep going on your steps to recovery, and how, it's okay to have a winding path to recovery. It doesn't have to be linear improvement, and kind of taking time for yourself. As we mentioned yesterday, a whole episode on self-care and about how it's important, but not to kind of make it a routine you're then more stressed out over. So, that's kind of the main two things, but I feel like I've exhausted them, from the point that I've said everything that would be helpful to you. So obviously there's a lot more I can say about them, but then, like previous Mental Mondays, they do tend to become quite rambling and quite self-centric. And while doing this, is to help me as well, because obviously being on camera and speaking to all of you is helping me, because I'm sharing how I'm feeling and just getting it out there to someone, which is so beneficial for my mental health. But at the same time, it does also need to serve a purpose. It does need to hopefully help you in some way. So I do try and find that balance, and I feel like with Mental Monday, it's interactive. You can talk in the chat, you can reach me on Twitter, which I'm just going to check. You can actually say, you can actually come and say how you feel too, get involved. But I feel like with a blog, it's got to be much more kind of focused on how I'm feeling can relate to you, I guess. So obviously everyone's recovery journeys are different, and I do try and say that, that what works for me won't work for you, and vice versa. but there has to be some benefit in a blog, if you know what I mean. That I have to write something that at the end of the day is going to be good for someone to read that's not me. Because, I could just read myself all day, but I would never publish that kind of stuff because, it's just there for me. I talk about free writing a lot. That's something I do. That's also another blog I've done. But, yeah, any topic ideas that you feel I could move into, I'm going to try and sit down and think about it. I haven't really had time, but I'm going to try and do a content calendar, if you will, of kind of when I'm going to publish blogs, although normally it's just as and when thoughts go into my head because it is a mental health blog. So that kind of makes sense to have that fluidity. But yeah, any ideas, all welcome. But I am going to, one of my New Year's things is to blog more, definitely. Just to kind of share what kind of goes on in my head, I guess. So yeah, that is something I am looking forward to in 2021. Is sharing more about what I'm going through in a way that provides more benefit to others than just myself. That is the goal for 2021. And we'll also be doing these every 2 weeks as well. And then obviously special editions for Mental Health Awareness Week and Christmas, normally. That's the only two we normally do. But yeah. I thought I'd just take a quick moment just to make sure there's no one that wants to break in and say something. Feel free to speak anytime. These are unscripted. I've always liked the unscripted format to just, be able to say what's just in my head, as I keep saying, and getting it out there. So I do like the unscripted format. I feel like it works well. So anything you guys want to say, anything you want to put in the chat or in Twitter or email even, do let me know. Do come and say hi. That'd be good. I do like hearing from you. That's kind of what makes these interactive. So, we've spoke a lot already about feelings over Christmas. Social anxiety, self-care. So we've kind of covered a lot of emotional stuff, I guess. Kind of how we process what we feel and how we actually have some self-care at the end of it. And I recommend you watch Christmas Eves from about 15 minutes in, and Christmas Day all the way through, which gives some really good advice and kind of my perspective on kind of how to reach out to people, how to take some time for self-care, what self-care is and what it isn't. Don't recommend watching the Monday one because that was a depressive episode talking about all the negative feelings we all feel about Christmas this year, because it had to be aired, it had to be done. So that was the chance to kind of just get it all out there and go from there. So yeah, that's kind of how I'm feeling about it. I'm really happy that we actually got to still have our Christmas Mental Mondays, and it hopefully was something you used to just take some time. So I just really want these to be a time where you can just take a couple of minutes out of your day, kind of drop in and drop out, and just have a moment away from it all, just to talk to someone different, just to do something different, come say hello, and then, that's it. It's not what I can really offer you, but I do try. And yeah, so I probably am just going to round up by just kind of talking about New Year's plans and resolutions. I didn't really have a script for this episode because it was mainly reflective, so I just thought just go with whatever comes into my head. But if there's anything you particularly want to reflect on or talk about, then just get in touch in the chat. Otherwise, I'll move on to this for our final topic. And that is kind of New Year's plans. Are you making any plans? Not for New Year's itself, but what are you going to do differently in the new year? Are you going to commit to taking some time for self-care, or prioritise your mental health, be kind to yourself and others, obviously? But yeah, I think for me, I'm going to I'm going to kind of try and block off work, I think. Because I feel like I've been working a lot, too much, and I need to book some time off and actually, like, say, you're not working during this time, find something useful to do, such as self-care, or just a game, or just text someone, which I do anyway, but, you know, I text someone on my phone, but then still work on my laptop, so it's not really off, but I feel like definitely scheduling, at least where I'm able to kind of proper steps back away from it all, and to say, right, this is not your life, and this is your life, this is the real world, and this is your life. So that's one of mine. Obviously blogging more as well. I do want to I feel like I've been so focused on like the corporate blogs that I run for like work, so definitely having a more kind of personal blog would be nice, to actually kind of completely change tone and style and just talk naturally more, rather than always very formally and kind of in office language. I mean, I do try not to do that anyway. I do try and make them a bit friendly, but there always has to be an element of kind of formality, especially if you're blogging to other kind of business owners that are much older than you. So there has to be an element of, I guess, professionalism. But yeah, definitely having some time to kind of just write what I want. I'm going to make some time for that in the new year as well. Obviously, we're still going to be doing these all throughout 2021. Every other week on Monday, 7 p.m. UK time, as we are now on Saturday. Still at the same time though. And yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking I'll be doing. I'm going to try and get more into the mental health community. Now, I said this yesterday, but I don't know quite how I'm actually going to do that. I feel like I'm just going to just text people more on Twitter. Just kind of try and have more of an active presence on, say, #mental health. I do have an Instagram, but I don't post on it. The last time I posted would have been just before I had my haircut in June, July. So half a year ago plus. And before that I didn't post in half a year either. So yeah. I don't use Instagram. I just don't. I just don't like it. I don't know why. It's just it's great as like from a work perspective, but on my personal account, it's just I just don't like putting myself out there like that. So yeah, don't use Instagram. Prefer texting people, like just normally WhatsApp, Snapchat. You know, just actual texting people, and yeah. So, now it's your turn. What are you going to be doing this new year? Or at least until, I mean, what's kind of happening now with the vaccine isn't really going to kick in until as spring at the earliest. So it kind of makes sense to assume the kind of status quo for a bit. So keeping that in mind, how are you going to kind of get through some more months? Because obviously we hear so much about the mental health crisis and how everyone's struggling at this time, but what are you going to do to find a coping strategy, really, which is what it is, of getting through? Because we all do need the coping strategy. I mean, even if we don't think we do, the fact that we don't think we do, we kind of cope anyway. So when we're kind of in the situation that we're in now, we're all watching this. We all got through Christmas yesterday. If you're watching this now, we all got through Christmas yesterday. And we all got through this year somehow. And we'll hopefully all get through next year as well. So with that kind of in mind, you are coping. kind of, in the sense that you're making the best of a bad situation. We all are. So, how is your coping strategy? Are you going to be doing anything different? A new year is a great time to start fresh, even though the situation won't feel like that, because obviously we've been the situation is still the same in terms of lockdowns and not seeing people and not having familiarity and the kind of normal world with us. But, I mean, it is still a good time to, if you're not coping well, or if you are coping well and you may be slipping slightly, to take a moment just to pause and to say, new year, let's wipe the slate clean, let's come up with a new coping strategy, and something that works for us. Obviously, if your coping strategy is working, that's great, keep doing it. But if it's not, maybe it's time to experiment and try something that works. That's kind of my tips on that. It's just, coping strategies or, that kind of thing that's prescribed, sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes you've got to try something new. Or sometimes it just stops working because the coping strategy itself becomes part of the ongoing kind of routine of everything. So, if your coping strategy is taking a walk, taking that walk could start off being a breath of fresh air and time away from it all. But then it just becomes part of the routine and a reminder of kind of the strange world we're living in now. So then maybe your new coping strategy is listening to music or drawing or something like that. Baking. Banana bread, for instance. So if your coping strategy isn't working, try something else. Talk to people around you. See, if you've got someone from CAMS or someone professional, maybe have a natter with them when they all open up and say, I'm not coping. I need something different. Or even, ring the Samaritans if things get really that bad and say, I'm not coping, can I just talk? A lot of people I speak to think you have to be on the brink of doing something to actually call the Samaritans. But if you're just really low and you just need someone to talk to, they are there for you. You don't have to be actively in a dangerous situation to ring them. You can just feel low and need to call. And you're not a burden if you're doing it to help you. You're allowed to help you and use the resources you have around you to do that, providing it's safe. So, yeah, I just thought I'd end with that because I'm sure we're all going to have a very difficult start to 2021, but hopefully as the year goes on, it gets a lot better for all of us. And, So, that draws us to our conclusion of Mental Monday, the big friendly conversation about mental health. It's been great being here. As I say, I'm always thankful for the privilege I have in kind of having this time and, this platform to speak openly about mental health and encourage you to do the same. And as always, you can reach me anytime if you do want to talk. That offer is there for you should you need it. It's been great. I was just trying to think of something to kind of say to end off, like a kind of conclusion, but I couldn't think of one, so I'm just going to leave it there. Thank you so much for coming to Mental Monday, the big friendly conversation about mental health with Jake Symons, that's me. And if you do want to reach me, you can reach me on Twitter at JakeusWrites, Instagram Jake_Symons, Snapchat JakeusWrites, all of which are linked on my websites and Instagram and Twitter in the description as well. So I'm going to put an article on the website tonight with kind of what we've discussed in different episodes and how they are just as kind of an archive for you. And that is it. I hope you had a very good Christmas and a Happy New Year to everyone. I look forward to seeing you all on our final Mental Monday of the year, which is back to normal schedule once every 2 weeks, every Monday, 7 p.m. UK time, and we are back on normal schedule on the 28th for the final episode of Mental Monday. So I hope you can join me then. In the meantime, take care, and I hope you all have a good start to a good year, and hopefully 2021 will be a great year for us all. Thanks everyone.